Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's episode, the short kings of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2023 anime, The Dangers in My Heart. Let's meet today's lovely complexes. First up, he takes the danger in his heart and turns it into interpretive dance and slam poetry. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
Oh, going pretty well. Getting cold up here, and the show was actually somewhat cozy to watch over the cold weekend. I was getting over a bit of illness, and this didn't make me even more sick, so I appreciate that. I was kind of expecting the opposite of that.
Yeah, me too. So I'm glad we got to bundle up and get warm with this show. Next up, the danger in his heart is high cholesterol. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
I'm not fat. What do you mean?
Tell that to our audio only listeners.
I am. I just did. I am doing great. I am cold. It is cold in my house currently. I'm bundled up in a blanket, but yeah, I'm doing great.
Hope everybody's staying warm. Our first and only moderator of the night, the danger in his heart is the poor battery life on his pacemaker. We got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
I have a heart condition. It is going very well. I think technically the show might have made me sick, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
It was too sweet for him.
Yeah, so we watched Dangers of My Heart, a spring 2023 anime by some studios. Pat's the studio guy. I don't remember what it is. So that's what you come here for. So I guess we're just going to go around and get everyone's first impressions. I know this is a show that's first few episodes in some ways are pretty different than the remaining episodes. So we'll start with you, Kat. Kat, what were your first thoughts of watching this anime?
My first thoughts of watching this anime was it reminded me of watching Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions. And I dropped Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions after 5 episodes because I couldn't get past it. Sure, the animation's great, but I hate the way that they feel. And it's partially because I feel like a lot of people have felt the same way as the main character in Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions, and they don't like to be reminded of that. Japan seems to like to do that. And they did that at the beginning of the show, which is why I fucking hated it. I genuinely detested the first few episodes. Just because, like, I was just glad that while I was watching it, I had something else to stimulate my mind. Because if I didn't, I may not have made it today.
Okay. And would you recommend it?
Oh, yeah, I will recommend it.
Okay, great. Sounds wonderful. And Jay, what about your initial thoughts?
So, yeah, I kind of agree with Kat in some sense. I had heard about the first few episodes of this show back when it was a seasonal, which was, I think, just like a season
2
or 2
seasons ago?
2 seasons ago, yeah. I could tell that there was a certain type of person who would really enjoy this based on kind of the discourse around it online in general, and a certain type of person who would not really like it. And I'm not really either of those people, so I was a bit curious about it. So a bit nervously, I went into this, and it ended up being a lot better than I thought it was. I didn't really find the main character, Kyoutarou, that cringe, honestly. Like, he has his, like, little not serial killer, but just, like, killer bit at the start, but, like, honestly, who among us hasn't had, like, you know, a flash of, like, oh, man, like, when we're younger, especially, and not as emotionally stable, who hasn't had a flash of, like, oh, man, I could just wring this person's neck or something?
I will say that's a little different than what he was doing.
Yeah.
No, the part where he's like, you know, I want to kill this girl more than anyone, that was definitely a bit odd. And it's kind of weird how the show kind of, like, at the start, it wants you to look past it because he does these, like, nice things every now and then for her, right? And then, spoiler alert, it just kind of goes away, and it's just not a thing after, like, the 4th episode. So I guess that kind of made me lessen on the cringeness of it a bit. Like thinking about the fact that it was just a thing in the the first 3 episodes and then just disappears. It allowed me to retroactively not have as much cringe about it, I guess. So
yeah. I generally agree with that. I think, and I even got this impression, I guess, from the beginning. I feel like there are sometimes authors or writers or whatever go like a little ham on their concepts, and you just sort of have to, like, in your head, do the mental math, or not. You don't have to, right? But like you can, to say like they didn't want him to come off as like an actual murderer. Like, I don't think that was the intent. I think the intent was for him to just supposed to be like sort of edgy and like a loner and everything, and that was like written poorly. And
from what I understand in the manga, it's like the first 5 chapters or so that takes place in. So it's not like a huge amount of time, but it is enough time to where like people would be turned off. Like if people were going to be turned off by it, they would probably stop reading in the first 5 chapters. So,
yeah, I mean, I would recommend this. I would say that, like, I mean, he thinks very dangerous thoughts at the beginning, and like there's a lot of hints, in my opinion, that it's not like real thoughts that he has, but like it's still there and pretty weird. So I'm gonna say let's jump into it, and
or I can give my first impression.
Fuck. God.
Dang. Turns out we did meet Pat.
Not only that, Miles, you didn't give your first impressions either.
I did. I thought Jay was last, and so I piggybacked off of that, said what I thought, and then tried to go.
It's all good.
I'm gonna die.
Not yet.
Okay. Though. Yeah, I'll wait until the episode's done. Okay.
Thanks, man.
And Pete, what are your first impressions?
So my first impressions are like a tale of 2 cities here. So I think coming into this with, and not the actual literary thing, knowing ahead of time that the first couple episodes were going to be very odd, really put people off, helped me a lot because I knew that it was going to get better over time, and it did. If I was watching this blind during the season, I think I would have dropped it midway through episode 2. Not only does the murders thing, but it does like a lot of the younger adolescent horny boy stuff that I'm not like the biggest fan of. It's different than like fan service where there's like, did you see the G cups on her? It's just like, yeah, dude, we all saw the G cups on her. Like, it's one of those things where they just like press that issue and press that like idea like over and over again. They did that in episode 2, and I was just like, oh my God, like we know. And so that kind of drove me crazy. But I would recommend this show because I do think it got significantly better over time, and really makes me happy to see that it's getting a second season. And yeah, so that's my first impression.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I guess with that being said, let's jump into the first few episodes. And I guess I want like everyone's opinion on the murderous intent that Ichikawa has at the beginning. How much did that affect your enjoyment of the show? Do you think that was written well, even if you're not like the biggest fan of it or not? You know, because that's the thing that I've been thinking of. You know, so Jay, you want to start us off?
Yeah, honestly, Pete put it really well, I think. Like, I think if I was watching this during the season that it aired, I probably would have dropped it due to the like first couple episodes. But like knowing from people, like, or rather hearing from people whose opinions I trust on like romance anime and stuff, that like it turns around a lot, seeing that the score from it on basically every rating platform turned around quite a bit, that kind of like, you know, lubricated it, so to say, for me, like made it easier for me to kind of like just slide in there. Like,
is that the best turn of phrase?
I love it.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I love it. I guess for me, when I watch like these style of like shonen romances, do like they always do some like sort of tropey things in the beginning, and I do think this is sort of a, let me say, not tropey, fan servicey thing where a lot of times it's like, a sexual thing, like a panty shot. They walk in at the wrong time, and that's kind of like how they hook people, or the people that the target audience that they want. And then as the story progresses, they start showing more and more of the actual story. This, I think, kind of did the same thing where they wanted to like pull in like this Chunibyo middle school, high school fan base with these like different edgy delusions that I think a lot of people who wear all black would really like. And I think it did a good job at targeting that market. But as a grown man, it really put me off. Like, this is the type of stuff I don't like seeing. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's creative. I don't think it does any service of purpose to the story itself. Because I think Jay mentioned earlier, like, it kind of just goes away and is never really addressed later on, where like, all right, is this kid having like mental issues or something like that in his head, and they played that into the story? But it's just, no, he's just like an edgy middle school kid, and that's all it is. And I kind of got taken back a little bit from it, but I guess in general, this is the type of content I really don't like to see in my media.
Another thing that I find interesting about Kyotaro's character is that, like, he always has these, like, delusions that people are thinking that he's, like, super creepy and everything like that, but we never actually see anybody treat him that.
We find out he had like two really good friends in like what was that, elementary school or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the reason why he doesn't have any friends is because he's kind of a shitty friend. Like his friend's like, let's keep in touch. Like, we're going to different schools. Well, it's so nice to see you. And he's just like, oh, these kids got into different schools than me. They're no longer my friends. Like, dude, you're the problem.
Yeah, and like, even whenever he does something like launches his bike into the river in like the first couple episodes or whatever, like, nobody says, oh, like, you know, that loner loser launched his bike. They're just like, oh yeah, Ichikawa flung his bike into the river or whatever. Like, nobody really ever,
let's help him get it out.
Yeah, they try to, like, everybody's pretty friendly to him. It doesn't seem like he's like bullied or anything. His sister wants to have like a good relationship with him. Like, she teases him a bit, but not in like a, you know, bullying sort of like, I don't want to be seen with you, you're uncool sort of way. Like, she tries to spend time with him. Like, his mom, and well, I guess we don't really see his dad at all, but his mom, like, she doesn't seem to have any like, or she doesn't think that anything's wrong with him. Like, she doesn't think he's creepy or anything like that. Like, it really is just all in his head. I think everybody else kind of sees him as, oh, he just has some weird interest, but he's not like, you know, he's not bringing like a whatever to school.
Yeah, I think there's like a few different ways that you see that, right? Like, one, I think stuff that makes it sort of obvious is like all the interactions he has, you know, like the bike thing comes with it. The fact that Moeko, the redheaded girl, like wants to study with him when he thinks him and Yamada are just like studying together. Like, and they don't seem ever really like put off by the fact that Yamada likes him or anything. Like, you know, you would think you would have that conversation if your friend liked the school shooter kid, right? I'm not really sure what they were trying to do, making him quite, because I think the self-loathing stuff that he does is like super accurate, right? Like, he failed in a way that he thinks is very important and he shut down, and that's like very common for middle schoolers to do. But I don't know where the murderous intent came from. Kat, did you have thoughts?
Yeah. So I think because of a lot of the things you mentioned, maybe this is me doing mental gymnastics, but I think because of the reasons that you've mentioned, I think it is written well, because in a lot of the ways he's viewing himself as this person who everyone like kind of hates. And even though like a lot of people just don't really know him and they just kind of leave him alone, except for that one douchey kid that's trying to get with Anna. But the thing is that he knows that he's kind of a dick a little bit, and because of that, he's putting a reason to it. Because of all the things that he's reading, he's taking all the things that he enjoys reading and then saying, "Oh, I'm a killer. I'm angry." Like, just getting into that delusion, and part of it was that delusion distorted his view of the people around him more than most Yamada, because he really did like her. Maybe it was just because like she looked great and she was a model, but he really did like her, so his delusion was flipped on its head.
Yeah, I guess the only thing for me with that, and I agree with a lot of what you said, is that I wish he had an internal moment where he was like, I've never really wanted to do any of this stuff. I was just trying to do X, Y, or Z. Like, it was just a coping mechanism for
Well,
whatever I'm feeling. You
I
know?
think the reason why there wasn't that is because it literally just stopped. Like I think
Yeah, that's
that
fair.
was the moment where he was like, I don't, because like we're in his head. This is a first person story, and he like after they have more interaction and after they are getting closer in the first few episodes, he just kind of stops with that, and it's to me, it's kind of obvious that that's a moment where he's going, hey, I like, she's really nice and she's really cute and she's got a great body and she's got a great personality. And I think that's more of them showing and not telling, maybe not showing in a great way, but I think that is what they're going for, personally.
Okay. Jay, you had some thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with Kat that I think that like it makes it better written that the fact that he is so kind of delusional about it, I guess. Not like delusional is a bit of a harsh word about it, but like a lot of the stuff is really just him projecting how he feels about himself onto others. And I think
Yeah.
that that's something that a lot of people fall into. Like hell, I've fallen into it a lot where, you something happens to you and you get a way in your mind that you think about like it involves other people, and you think, oh, these people did it for X and Y reasons, and it's like, no, you're actually just like being a little bit narcissistic in a way and thinking that you're more important than you are, that these people would like think this way about you. Like you're not even really like, everybody's got their own things going on necessarily. I think that's kind of where he's at. I would really love if the second season kind of expands on this a little bit and has him maybe talk to her a bit about how he feels about himself. Like admit to her, like, I feel X, Y, and Z about myself, because we kind of got a little bit about that when she found like, his books and everything in his room, but he was pretty adverse to it at the time and tried to prevent that. So I think that that would be a really nice place for that to go in the second season. And honestly, just get this kid some fucking therapy. Like he needs it. Jesus.
That's that he does.
He needs like some anxiety medication or something like that. And maybe that's like a really American way to look at it, that like get this 13-year-old boy some hormonal medication stat so we can get rid of his depression. I don't know.
As someone who was
probably help
put on anxiety medication when they were 13 because I thought people were trying to murder me, not the other way around, it helped a lot. So
it might help the opposite. Then you're right. Fair enough.
In your defense, though, people were trying to kill you.
Oh God, don't say that.
Everybody's John Wick, bro.
They never stopped, Miles.
They never stopped, mainly because of Pete.
I guess I would have, because like I think we've all done it. We create like narratives and scenarios in our head, especially when we were younger, about how we thought people viewed us. I think they did like a really good job at like seeing it through other people's eyes on how they view him, like Jay mentioned earlier. But like I really do wish we got to see Ichikawa sort of confront some of these problems that he had, and I do like this. That would be great to see it in the second season. I did think like the I don't know if you guys watched the sub or the dub, but in the dub, when Yamada finds the books, she mentions like, oh, this is psychology. Is this something that you're interested in? And maybe we go down the lines a little bit like that. I think that'd be really interesting to see like how he likes, like maybe the reason why behind like these thoughts is that he's intrigued with like the mindset of people. Because like I know for me, I people have called me weird for this, but like I think like cults are super interesting. And like in college, when I take like a psychology class, I took like the psychology of cults. So I thought like that's super interesting, but people also think that's weird. But I'm like, how? Like how people's brains work in those situations? To me, is interesting. But I think just be really interested to see like diving into his mindset and addressing these issues that we saw in these episodes.
Yeah.
I bet this is a cultural thing, but I would say like women love true crime.
Yeah.
So like it's probably
Yeah, but it's a red flag if a guy is too into true crime. Legitimately, it is a red flag in my opinion. Double standard or not, I don't care.
Let us know in the comments.
I also think that he needs to just like expand his horizons a bit and get into more stuff that isn't just murder. Because he seemed very happy reading that shoujo manga, actually.
Yes.
Like, he really enjoyed it. So, like, why not just expand your horizons? Like,
because you have to curate your image when you're in middle school.
Yeah.
He's not the shoujo kid. He's the murder kid.
He's listening to everything. He's like, I can't. Right. I can't listen to like, the pop music. I'm too busy listening to XXXTentacion.
Exactly. That's like, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, I don't like pop music. I only listen to not pop music, like pop rock bands. Like,
yeah.
I only listen to Blink-182
and Kelly. Speaking of pop rock, like pop punk, that reminds me that my favorite part of his character design is when they show his POV and you have the hair fringe in front of the fucking camera.
Yeah. It is fantastic.
That was an amazing touch.
Okay, so let's progress sort of the focus of these episodes, and then let's talk about how we liked his relationship with Yamada. Because I think all of us can agree she's like lovely. Like
I think she hard carried this season. Like, I think if she was like a normal, less personality, I think the show legit would be like a 4 or 5. I think she hard carried.
I liked him a fair amount later on. I think he is pretty good. He has this very interesting dichotomy of being very aware of everyone else and how they're interacting with each other and being super unaware of who he is as a person. And I thought that was neat.
He's a bad Hachiman.
Do you guys think that Yamada's character is a bit in the like school of like Marin Kitagawa, like shonen romance type protagonists? Because I feel like obviously she's not as blatantly like trying to appeal to like nerds as like Marin is with like the Arrow games and like the cosplay and everything. But I feel like Yamada's like approachability in that, she's a model, but she still eats like a 300-pound American, and she's very like cute and everything. Like I think that she has that same like she's meant to be super approachable. Like I think that's why she kind of carries the show so hard in the same way that like Marin carried the show for that as well. Like Gojo developed into himself, but people came for Marin and pretty much stayed for Marin as well. And I think that it's a similar idea in this show, honestly. But Kyoutarou does have like really good character development towards the end, in my opinion.
Yamada feels like very girl next door, but also she's a model to me, and like her sort of archetype.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. Like, I think that honestly, her being a model, it just didn't really seem to matter at all, but apart from like the magazine thing and the one TV part.
I guess for Yamada in general, I liked how they sort of did like this mix of like, yes, she is approachable, and then sort of kind of having the situations that you would think like a person like her status would get put into. Like when she was trying to play off, I think it was like episode 3, 4, 5, that area, where she's like playing off like the guy talking to her, like, oh, do you have a line? It's like, oh no, like I don't really use that stuff, and like he's not getting the message across, and like she's like trying to be nice and denying him, but like he just keeps pushing. Oh, I think this is the bike episode. And it like got to the breaking point where like he's like, how do you not get the clue, bro? Like, please get the clue. I think stuff like that was like a nice touch to her character, because then the next scene, it's like, okay, she's eating candy out of her pocket and being a glutton or something like that. I'm just like, those types of things with her character, it's not much, but I think like the standards are so low where if you do something like that, it really intrigues me in her character and throughout the entire story. I honestly,
Yeah.
when we do best girl for like 2023, I think she's like a top 10 best girl from the year. I
That's fair.
loved her. I think she hard carried.
I would just like to. Her personality and everything was great, but I think it was a bit surface level at the moment. The surface level was very good, don't get me wrong, but I would love to see more of her like inner monologue fleshed out a bit. Like I would love to know more about her.
You know what I would love to see is in one of the episodes we saw the parent teacher thing, and like her mother is like very strict and like sit up straight, all this stuff. But then she talks about her mom when she isn't in the scene about how, oh, my mom's not like that. Oh, my mom at home, she's more like hair down, fun type of person. I want to see if that's actually like addressed, if her mom is actually like that, because like I get the feeling like her mom isn't actually like that, and that's how she perceives her mom in the story. I thought that was like a kind of an interesting contrast.
I imagine she's probably like a showbiz child. Or
that's what it
something
seems
in a way,
like,
right?
You know who she has a lot of parallels with is Mai from Bunny Girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
In sort of like you have that same mother dynamic potentially. They're both sort of actor children or whatever. They're both much better than the people they're dating. You know, just all of that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it's interesting, Jay, because one thing I kind of liked about this was how maybe surface level isn't the right word, but like low stakes everything was. I feel like a lot of these shows, when you're coming up with a tragic backstory for like the main characters, you have like in the way that the author went extra on making him want to murder her as opposed to just being edgy. I feel like the author went not very extra, and I liked this about why he was sad and stuff, because it was about not getting into a school and not fitting in like he like belongs, and that's like, you know, it wasn't something super.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, he got bullied to some amount that would have been on national news or something.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want there to be like drama or anything. I would just like to know like what is Yamada like thinking, you know, at the average moment, because like it's easy to see how she feels about things through her actions, but when she's like not doing like something, when she's just kind of talking a lot of the time, it can be a little bit difficult to see like where she's trying to go with the conversation compared to Kyoutarou, who has a very involved monologue at all times, like when they're having conversations and stuff like that.
True. I do think that's probably a choice a bit, because we're supposed to like, because Kyoutarou is a dumbass, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like this girl is throwing herself at him, and it takes him forever to pick up on it. And so I wonder if some of that is like intentional, like because you see her doing this things where you're not quite sure what she's thinking, but you can sort of divine it, but like that might be intentional. I don't know. So maybe as they start dating, like more officially, we'll get your inner monologue, because I think that'll be more interesting once they get a better sense of each other, if that makes sense.
It'd be cool to get it as like a one episode thing in the next season or something. Like just have like a POV episode.
That's a trope I love.
It would be cool if it was from her perspective, literally first person, to where we're like looking down at Kyoutarou from the clouds at all
that'd be great.
But like, I don't know. To me, and did anyone feel like the size difference made me uncomfortable? I don't know why. It did. It just
that's
did.
Just how that's how girls be at that age, though. Like men, they get their growth spurts like before men, and she's also a model, so she's just like taller than that. Like she's like a Tyra Banks type, you know. Like I understand where you're coming from, especially because like they did do a lot of jokes about like him being directly chest level with her.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of that point of view.
But that honestly is that's just how it is. Like I made the joke in the anime club channel on our Discord, which by the way, guys, if you want to join us in discussing what we're watching, you can join us over on Discord at the What Do You Say Anime Discord.
Sick server. Plug, Pat.
I was gonna make that exact joke.
But I made the joke in the anime club channel that like I posted Ned's Declassified with Ned and Mose. Like that's what it is. But like that shit's realistic. Like when I was in like that age, I dated girls who were taller than me because I just hit my growth spurt kind of late compared to other people.
I guess I watched Lovely Complex, and I'm used to. I should say used to, but I've already seen a show about a tall girl and a short king, and I liked it a lot. I like that dynamic. If anything, I wish we had more of this dynamic in the anime and manga.
I agree. Actually,
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially middle school. You know, like Jay said, you know, girls go through puberty 2 years earlier than dudes. So there's a lot of times. I was telling this to Kat. I went to in 5th grade. We had a girl in our class who was 6 feet tall.
That's tall.
She was
whenever.
She was no for sure. But in 5th grade, she was 6 feet tall. So like I don't know, it just, and I thought she was cool. So like I thought it was cool that like.
Well, yeah, I guess like the girl I liked in middle school also was taller than me for the first 2 years of middle school.
I was gonna say that was Caitlin Clark. Whoops.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if she went to UConn, but I decided not to.
Nice.
But like, I don't know. I get it's not just the height thing. I don't know, and you're not wrong that that's like an actual like real like because like in middle school you have people who be looking like, you know, high schoolers, and the people who look like they're in elementary school. Right? That's just how it works.
LeBron James had a receding hairline when he was a junior in high school. Like people just look like that.
Maybe it's something I just need to work through, but it made me feel weird when I saw them like hugging and stuff. I don't know.
I almost say sometimes being Little Spoon is great. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm a Little Spoon almost all the time.
I'm so jealous of Jay.
No, can't do it.
Jay's living my dream.
Misogyny.
We might be like telling on myself too much here, but like I can't let people initiate contact with me. Like I hate it. I need to be the contact.
That's true. When I tried to hug you, you kicked me in the nuts.
But but I'm usually the one who initiates it. Like I literally am just like assume the position, and then I just lay on
like
the chest.
back into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worm over to the side of the bed.
Literally.
All right. Okay. Well, holy heck, that was a tangent. So yeah, I guess like getting back to the main thing though, I liked their relationship. I thought they had a good dynamic. I thought like even one of the early tells that Kyo wasn't gonna like actually be a murderer is he's like stalking her in the library to like murder her, and then he's like, oh, she's making her poster bad. Why is like, because if you really wanted to kill someone, you wouldn't be like, oh, I care that they're gonna get a bad grade on their history poster. Like that, at least in my head, if I'm trying to imagine killing someone, like, right, that wouldn't be a factor. So I don't know. The wrapper callback, like when she gives them the empty wrapper, and then at the end when she does that, I thought that was fun.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I liked all of the ways that she was like, I like you, and he was like, in his head, just never assumed that would be the case, but like slowly over time realizes it. I don't know. Did you guys like the relationship? Did you, what aspects of it did you like, etc.?
Yeah, so I liked the relationship in that with Yamada, it like there wasn't too much just randomly added drama. Like it didn't feel like, you know, they did this thing where oh, I know that and this is coming off of the thing where they could have easily done it, where they're like, oh, she's only using me so that I can be a shield for him, and it could have gone on for much longer than that. It could have gone on to the next episode and just been a situation where they were just so separated and they feel so bad, and then they just come back together like magnets. And I'm glad that they didn't do that, because every time you do that, it's just so, it takes the wind out of the sails of the show. It takes the wind out of the sails for me personally. And like I've dropped like 3 other shows that have done that, so I was actually kind of worried when they did. The fact that, like, using that as an example, though there are other examples where like there was more drama that could have been added, and they decided not to. The other thing is like in episode 11 when the dude ends up basically getting abducted to go to a restaurant, and he refuses to give him Yamada's line. That's a great example of like how precious she's become to him, and how much he's decided to be selfish for her.
Yep.
And I just that is an example of why I really enjoy this dynamic, and I really enjoy their relationship.
The dialogue between the two is one of the things that I really liked, where Ichikawa would just sometimes say like the most suave shit without realizing it. My favorite scene in the entire show is when they change desk, and his vision's getting blocked by Yamada, and she gets jealous that he's like sharing a textbook, and his response was like, "You're the only thing that I see in class." It's like, and she's just like so flustered and blushed. It's like, oh my god, he thinks of me that way, when realistically he can't see the blackboard. I thought stuff like that was so genius. And it's sort of the thing where it's like 10 seconds later, he's like, oh shit, like, did I just say that? Because I don't know. It's happened like twice in my life, but I've definitely said some suave shit without realizing, and then like down the road realize it's like, oh man, that was actually dope. So I really liked, because I think he did it a few times where he just like saying like really nice, considerable things, but like it's all subconscious, like he's not overthinking it. And then after the impact lands, it's like, like any middle schooler would when he likes a girl or something like that. I love that dynamic between them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I'm just going to echo what you guys said. I think that Yamada and Kyoutarou are two of the more likable shonen protagonists, or shonen romance protagonists, in recent memory. I'm just super excited to watch the second season of this. I like that I think we're kind of past the whole like, dangers in my heart aspect with like the serial killer stuff. Like obviously, like from a plot structure standpoint, we move past it relatively quickly, but from like a in-story perspective, we kind of ended on it with him realizing that was like a exterior armor sort of deal that he put up to keep people away, and he realized that he doesn't need that if he has her. So I'm really enjoying that. I think that we're going to get more of those like cute kind of date moments that we got in the next season. And like I said, I would really love to know a little bit more about Yamada, because I think we got a lot of great character development from Kyoutarou, and I would like to see her character develop a bit as well, even though she's already a really solid character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one moment that made me laugh because it was just so relatable was, I think it's like the second to last episode, where they're at the festival and she comes over when he's with his family and he just screams. He's just like, because he's just so flustered by all of it. It was like, it's just like so many flashbacks to like your parents meeting the girl you liked or whatever. And like, you knew that they knew that you like liked her, but all that you weren't sure what the dynamic was. Yeah, it was just so. I felt that. I burst laughing when I heard that. It was just a very real scream to me.
I guess this says more about me, but I can't relate. I was the person that initiated the contact and just went, "Hey, Ma, this person, is she smart or is she dumb?" Like,
I guess I could definitely relate, because I remember like my first girlfriend in like high school, where like we would go on dates for like 6 weeks, and I'm still like, I don't know if she likes me or not. And then like finally she's my girlfriend. It's like, I was so dumb back then. Like looking back at it, it's like I totally get it. It was like that his mindset of just like, I don't know if she likes me. Like, I feel you, brother.
I was getting so mad. Like when she found the magazines and he was like, "It's over." I was like, "You idiot. She's going to think this is sweet. You're so stupid. You're so stupid."
I was going to say, especially with like her waiting in line to sign her magazine in that one episode, which that was one of the bits that like first sold me on her as a character. I would say it was just her like putting the magazine over someone else's, and then like, all that, like that whole bit was just really nice. And I enjoyed the magazine hiding bit as well, honestly. I thought that was a nice way to kind of like tie it together with like the start to the end.
jumping off that, I want to mention just one more thing that I hated after the first two episodes. It was when she went into after that, and he bought the magazine, and he like the implied masturbation.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
I don't even know if it's
Oh,
implied.
my
I
God,
think
I
it's just
hate
straight
that.
up he did it.
Dude, there was whatever she called him at night when he was on vacation and she was wearing her pajamas. He says, "I don't even have time to like
Yeah,
sneak one in."
Yeah, that like I hated that
I
so much.
hated
Like
that.
I get it.
I don't like
get
it either. It is realistic, but I
It's-
just don't want to
it's
hear about it.
extremely
is the
realistic.
thing.
But I'm watching this for escapism.
Because he did it before when she came over. He like looked in the trash can to make sure that the trash can got empty. He's like, "Oh, thank God it doesn't smell it here." It's just like, bro, like, is that necessary? Like, I don't know. Like, it's one of
Man,
those
my
things. Where,
cum smells so strong.
Yeah, right?
God,
Like,
God I threw away that shit.
yeah, it's not cologne, bro. But like, it's like make the joke once, like I get it. Then make the joke 5 times. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's the Rent a Girlfriend where like he has like the garbage can piled with tissues. Like, we get it. Like, we get it, bro.
Yeah,
Ugh.
we know you're a lonely bastard.
There's one thing though I loved that I want to mention. It's also one of my favorite scenes was when they were waiting to go to the cafe, and she was on the bottom step and he was on the taller step, and then he was thinking in his mind like it's the gentleman thing to be in front. But I think like Yamada really liked the fact that at that point he was taller than her, and so when he like goes to step down, she's like, no. Like, I like this. Please stay up there. I thought that was super cute. I love that.
She did wear heels too, and I felt bad for him then because I was like, poor dude. Like when they went on their date Christmas Eve, I was like, oh no, she's wearing heels. That's like an amateur dating a short guy mistake.
Yeah.
Should have worn flats.
He should have worn heels.
Yeah, he should have worn heels.
Yeah.
You should wear the
Should've worn-
Ron DeSantis like
Yes.
platforms.
Nah, he should have worn the fucking Prince shoes. Fucking Prince.
I don't know what those are.
Yeah, wow.
You've never seen the Prince platforms?
Fake Minnesotan confirmed.
I've
my
been to Prince's house
God.
before.
This is your PD Pablo.
No. You don't know
This
who
is your
Petey
Petey
Pablo
Pablo moment.
is. I've been to Prince's house.
Yeah, a little bit of a little difference there.
Wait, no.
Prince
no.
isn't known for his
We're talking about the
shoes.
Prince platforms, brother. Like these are iconic.
They're not.
Pause. Kat, you didn't know who Petey Pablo was?
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
You're from North Carolina.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. And he didn't even know that he should take his
Not
shirt
even
off,
pause.
wave
Leave
it around
this
his head
in.
like a helicopter.
He's a fake
Dude.
North Carolinian.
Look, my fucking persona in middle school was that I listened to electronic music. Don't fucking come at me.
So did I. I know who Petey Pablo was. I listened to
was like,
Bass Nectar or whoever.
Kat was like, I love Dead Malfoy.
Yeah, I listened to the Dota remix in middle school.
Oh, that was a banger.
Have you been to a wedding in your state, Kat?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Every
Yeah, like,
wedding in North Carolina, they pay raise up every single time. It's amazing.
I just don't like going to weddings or funerals. Like I
love weddings.
I don't go
I
out.
love funerals.
For North Carolina.
So
Anyways,
you're
Yeah.
like,
When my grandma died in North Carolina, we played Petey Pablo. Oh, it was sick. It was fucking lit. Back to Dangers in My Heart.
how much better would Dangers in My Heart be if they paid Petey Pablo during it?
if they played Raise Up instead of
Yeah.
that whack ass ED.
Oh my god.
I liked the OP a lot. The ED just was not hidden for
The
me.
OP was great.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's true. The OP was great.
I'm trying to remember them at all. Nah, they were fine.
If you can't remember them, then that's, yeah.
Wasn't bad or good. I do remember, I think, liking the OP, but really, I just can't. Is there any other aspects of the show that we want to get in? You know, like obviously the main part is the two characters and their relationship, right? That's like almost 90% of the show, I would say.
More than that, even.
Yeah.
I did like the inclusion of Hara, the sort of the bigger girl, and talking about her.
Cool.
However, I didn't like that the dude basically had like a fat fetish. Like, I wish that he just saw her as a person and not like. I mean, I get it. You like thick girls, it's fine, but like, it was just one of those things where like I think it could have been addressed in a better way, and sort of just like handling that topic instead of just being like, oh yeah, I like them big. I think he legit says something along those lines. I'm just like,
Yeah, he does.
She's really self-conscious about her body, and it's cool that you like her for that, but I also wish you'd like her for her. And I just think they missed the mark on that. Because like it got brought up like two or three times. Then
there was part of it where she said she was like dieting, and he said that he liked big. Like, I don't know. I think it might have just been like an awkward way for him to say that he was attracted to her, and it was like middle schoolery. But like, also, I don't disagree with what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're wrong. I just think the intent was what you were saying, and the execution was maybe a little bit off.
Yeah, I just feel like if this was in like a shoujo manga, I think it just like that's the type of. I think they would have handled like that scenario better instead of making it comedic. I would say, because I feel like they were trying to make me laugh when he was talking about her weight, and I didn't want to laugh at that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't necessarily know. I don't know. As someone who's going through Fruits Basket right now, the amount of physical violence that's present in it between people who are supposed to be romantically involved with each other was surprising for me. So yeah. I don't know enough about.
Wait till you get to season 2.
Can't wait.
I've never seen Fruits Basket. What the fuck?
It's just tsundere bullshit.
Okay.
But wait, it gets escalated.
Okay, Pete, you said you have more.
Yeah. So this is a strictly. It could be serious or a fun question because it's announced that it's getting a second season. I want to know what else that you want to see in the second season to maybe elevate this more further. I think it'd be fun if we got a time skip and Ichikawa was like 6 feet tall.
That is fun.
One thing that I want to see is I would definitely want to see more exploration. First of all, into Yamada's character, but we've already covered that. But also a little bit more like we've seen the first step of recovery when it comes to therapy here, and this is like the closest thing that he has to therapy right now. I want to see him become not necessarily more popular, but definitely more comfortable in his own skin to the point where he's able to help people and become more of a where he becomes more friends with the less shitty people in his class. Becomes friends with Yamada's friends and becomes friends with people who aren't just trying to get with Yamada or people that aren't just trying to fetishize her. Like, just getting a group of friends that he can be around along with Yamada and just getting to a point where he's not as socially anxious. I'd love that.
Yeah, I pretty much said what I wanted to see, so I'll say something I don't want to see. I don't want to see that fuck ass kid who kept asking for the line.
Yes.
With his shitty Zoomer haircut and everything. Like, honestly, I would like to see maybe like a little note that he moved away to like Hokkaido or something like that. Like he's going work in a lumber camp.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That would be ideal. No, I don't want anything that bad to happen to him. I just want him to like have some hard labor so he maybe thinks about what he's done wrong. That's all.
Okay. Really unpopular opinion. What this needs,
Love
and what
triangle.
romance show needs, right? You got to get a B-plot love triangle going on. Okay? You got Chihiro, you got Moiko, you have them both like, I don't know, that dude, whoever. It can't be the orange-haired guy because Moiko is like really caught on to him really quick, so you need someone else. Even though Chihiro like fell for him like immediately, she was like,
Do you want them to introduce like a hose character, like Hose from the last one we watched.
Oh God.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, him.
Just
Because he
Hose, okay.
has to move
Just
away,
Hose.
right? Because he lost the bet, and so he's not allowed to have any friends in that city anymore. And so I would love that to happen because the main couple's going to be dating soon, right? And
Or
so
are they?
they are, or else I'll drop this multiple points.
Yeah, if they're not dating,
Yes.
if they aren't dating by like at least the halfway. If they're not dating at the start or the halfway point of the series, I'm dropping this shit.
Because
Yeah.
If they
I-
regress, I'm dropping.
I think
it.
that's one thing that I don't want to see. It happens all the time in shonen romances. Is right when you think that they're about to do it, roadblock, childhood friend, random drama. It blocks up so they can progress it. If you, oh my god, it drives me crazy.
That's why I want the love triangle to be the B plot between her like friends and stuff, so we can still have the will they won't they energy going on,
Okay,
but we get them officially dating. Do like a Kaguya thing, right?
Yeah.
Where the main couple starts dating, you move on to the B love triangle.
I like that.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I want to see more of Ichikawa and Moeko because I really like Moeko, and I think the hijinks that Moeko could put on Ichikawa would be very, very fun.
That scene where they walked home together was really funny.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
So I want to see more of that, and Chihiro as well. Just them and Hara. I like all of Yamada's friends.
Solid friend group.
Yeah, solid friend group, great people, great bouncing off points with Ichikawa if they ever play upon that. I just don't want to see any more of the dudes that used to sit behind Ichikawa. I fucking hate all of them.
I thought they were fine. I don't know. I'm not going to blame the middle
I didn't
school
like
kids
him.
for thinking the
I
hot
didn't
girl
like
in
him
class was
groping
hot.
his friend like that.
Yeah, that was
what?
just like
Remember
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
groped his friend and was like, "I wonder if her breasts are larger than yours."
No.
yeah, that was rough. I hated that.
I did think it was funny when they did like the hand thing about like to see what kind of sex they're into, and like
Yeah, that was fun.
she's in the foot jobs.
Moeko
She likes
then
boys.
Googles the test, and it's like,
Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. I thought the two groups had like a pretty good dynamic, honestly. Like
Yeah,
the guys were like a bit horny, but like I don't know.
they're like freshmen in high school, so
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
throw the first stone and all of that.
Yeah.
Kat, let's hear your final thoughts and your score.
My final thoughts on this show was a hellscape to watch for during the first two episodes. I hated the first two episodes, and we've already talked about that. So I'll talk about the rest of the show, where it was amazing. I loved this show. It made me very warm inside, made me very happy. And I think personally that the first two episodes, as much as I hated them, were a necessary evil to ease into the rest of the show. I think it was something that if that wasn't there to subvert our expectations and push forward something, and the fact that it can play into something that adds a little bit more to the narrative and can be seen as a very good writing decision. And I think that that's what they were going for. I think that it makes the show and pushes it up that much more. I really, really enjoyed this show, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh,
dang.
okay. And then next up is Jay, and then Pete. I can remember Pete this time. So
I'm
Jay,
here.
go first.
Yeah, definitely agree that the show, the first couple episodes, a little bit, there's some moments that are difficult to get through, but I honestly didn't really think that it was that hard for me, probably because I, knew that it was going to get better, so it was a little bit easier to soldier on through. I think that the dynamic between the two main characters is really nice. I love the comedy in the show a lot of the time. There are some really fun gags that don't really linger too long that they have at the ends of episodes, more or less, and the ends of scenes. They don't tend to use comedy as a way to like step on the heartfelt moments. They separate them nicely, which I appreciate. Show is, animated, decent enough, nothing to complain about, but also nothing to write home about. OP was really good, as well as like the general sound design and everything. Overall, I definitely recommend this show if you're into like shonen romance or just like coming of age romance at all. I think you'll enjoy this, and I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
And Pete.
I guess maybe everyone said first few episodes I didn't like, I would have dropped it. The middle was solid. There was some fluff. There were some extra scenes that I didn't really enjoy. A lot of like the extra, talking about getting boners and masturbating and girls' cup sizes, and sometimes that gets a little old, and like that's not like the writing style that I like. I think it can get a little repetitive at sometimes as well. But Yamada is one of my favorite girls of this year. I thought she was fantastic. I loved her dynamic. I thought she was super fun. She could be serious when she needed to. She could be ditzy and goofy. And I just thought she was a very overall fantastic character. Ichikawa, I did not like that much until the last episode. I thought episode 12 was fantastic. I really enjoyed his character. I hope we see more of that into season 2. And with that, I would probably raise my ratings. But with this first season, I thought it was okay. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay. And for my final thoughts, I enjoyed it. I'm sort of with Jay on the first 2 episodes. Like, it's like a little cringy, but also, like, I guess I disagree with Kat. I don't think it was necessary. I think you could have just made him edgy and like not want to murder her. And so I just chose to like ignore that aspect because I thought it wasn't.
Didn't seem plot relevant.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I was just like, I got the general picture that it was trying to be painted and just sort of internalized that and didn't look at the specifics. But I wouldn't blame anyone for not doing that. I thought their relationship was pleasant. I liked Ichikawa. I thought he was like a budget Hachiman, as Pete said. But he puts it together a lot quicker than Hachiman. So really, who's the budget who?
I mean, I would disagree, but
man, I don't know. I watched 12 episodes of this and however many episodes of Origairu, and it definitely took Hachiman longer.
Oh yeah, it did.
I disagree.
I think it took him roughly around 2 to 3 years.
I 100% disagree. I think he figured it out in the first season. But we can get to that discussion later.
Yes, after we watch all of Origairu.
Oh, I can't wait. I love it.
Another important thing about Hachiman is you picked the wrong one. So
no, you're wrong about that.
Yuigamama is on the table.
The correct choice is Yuigamama. Anyways, I would score this an 8. So doing some extremely hard math, this averages out to an 8. And so the Mal average was an 8.24. So we're a little bit lower on it than Mal, but about in the ballpark, especially since there's only 4 of us. Okay. So next we'll shoot it over to Miles, who will tell us what we're watching next week.
Well, Miles.
Thanks, Miles.
What are we watching next week?
Yes. So we only had 4 shows last week. So in third place, we had a tie with Blue-Eyed Samurai and Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Legacy point.
You get one. Congrats. And then in second place, we had the Gymnast Daddy show.
Yeah.
And in first place, we will be watching Yuri Kuma Ayashi, or Lesbian Bear Store, which is apparently from the same director as Revolutionary Girl, Utena, Penguindarium, and Sailor Moon.
So Tone Dog will hate this show.
Yes. Okay, now let's go to everyone and see what their nominations are. Wow, I really do miss Pat.
Yeah. He's the glue that held us together. We just didn't notice.
It's a shame that Pat reached for a cop's gun at a Tom McDonald concert at UConn.
Okay, Kat, since I get the benefit of going last because I'm doing this, you get to go first. What do you want to nominate?
We haven't watched this anime, and it's probably not going to win, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to nominate Goblin Slayer.
Okay.
You're right. It's not going to win.
You are 100% right. That is not going to win.
That might get dead last.
Can I change my answer? Then I need a second.
No, because we've done this for almost 5 years, and if you don't come prepared, that's on you.
You've let me do it before.
Okay, Jay, you're up.
So, it's getting really cold in most of the areas where the Watch Club lives, whether you're in New England or, the home of the Vikings or Minnesota. So I decided to renominate something I've put up before, something that is one of my all-time favorite warm weather sports. And takes place on a tropical island. I'm going to nominate Suratama, the cute boys doing cute things fishing show.
Ooh.
Pete bait. Pete, what would you like to nominate?
If there's one thing that I am, it is a man of the people. I recently ran a YouTube poll to see which show people would vote for the next Watch Club, and almost 60% of the votes were for Uma Musume Pretty Derby. So who am I to deny the people what they want? I will be nominating Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Can't believe I'm gonna have to vote for Goblin Slayer.
I would like to change my answer if I can.
Sure.
What would you like to change to?
A Hara and Kenta.
Okay.
I would much rather watch a Hara again than rewatch
Goblin Slayer.
Or ever watch Goblin Slayer.
I think Goblin Slayer legit might be the most boring episode we would ever record. Did you see how we killed the goblin in episode 1 compared to episode 5? That was
I really enjoyed the Goblin Slayer's character development.
It was just
he stays true to his will. When tasked with doing something other than killing goblins, he says no.
Oh my god. Okay. I feel like what I want to do is just get Uma Musume out of the way.
Or just accept it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
That's what,
I think about putting something like really okay, I gotcha.
No. So you're also nominating Uma Musume.
So I'm also nominating. No, okay. So
we've never done this before.
I'm going to shoot an outside shot to try to get Haz back on the show and nominate Cautious Hero.
Oh, great, great show.
And I think it's so funny. But I just can't deal with Pete every fucking other week being like, I'm doing it for the people. It's Uma Musume.
Why are you hating on our fans? Why do you not want me to be a part of the people? I don't get
it. Why am I hate? Look,
Pete moments before removing one of his ribs so he can suck his own dick. I'm doing this for the people.
I do it for the people.
Okay. Pete, you do your thing.
Okay. All right. We're good. So we got for our shows. If you have made this far and you want to support us, best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Next week, I believe we will be doing the winter 2024 preview. So we're almost done with 2023. Looking forward to what's next for 2024. It'll be interesting. We got a few bangers, but I think first glance, it's going to be an average season, but I know people are hyped for solo leveling, so we'll check out solo leveling when it gets there. Otherwise, if you are here for Watch Club, we will see you in 2 weeks for Lesbian Bear Storm. No, that is the title of the show. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.